What's going on, everyone? It is your boy one more time, once again, live and direct, episode 35 of MMA Reloaded on the mic. Thank you for joining me wherever you're joining from, folks, whether you're joining live or if you want to watch this show, it's going to be live and direct tomorrow, fully uploaded to YouTube. And, we're going to post a little snippet on Instagram, on Twitter as well now, and on Facebook, folks. For your viewing pleasure, man. So you just get a little bit more curious about this show. So, folks, today, in about another 15 minutes, we have to do the pre-show, the pre-game show, as they do in the NFL, or you want to do the pre-match show if you're a football fan, or if you're in the UK. But this is MMA, so we're going to do the pre-fight show. We're going to do the pre-show show, really. This is MMA Reloaded on the mic, folks, episode 35. Today, folks, I'll be joined by Haider Khan. Haider Khan, folks, is coming into his second pro fight at Almighty Fighting Championships in September. Yeah, folks, and he's 1-0 right now as a pro, won his debut. He was 5-1 as an amateur. So, folks, Haider Khan he looks like a real standout prospect. And, it looks like one to watch now in September at Almighty Fighting Championship. So I will be there also, folks, in September at Almighty. So, wherever. So, folks, you can come through in September. It's going to be a great show. No doubt about it. So, folks, a lot of things have been happening as of late in combat sports in the past 24 hours. So first is obvious, I have to talk about Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington 2. It's made, folks. UFC 268 will be the event. Date and time yet to be confirmed. But yeah, man. This rematch right now is exactly what the welterweight division needed. So the two real fights, the two real rematches that Kamaru Usman needs to get past to now move on to Leon Edwards or Gilbert Burns again, or Leon Edwards, is Colby Covington and Jorge Masvidal, which he's already done. So those are really the two fights. Those are really the two rivalries for Kamaru Usman, which he needed to rematch. He needed to run it back to just to prove, to just settle the beef up. Yeah, and to sort of move on, because obviously, he doesn't want to. After the first fight, of course, with Colby Covington, it was a classic. It was a classic, and in mixed martial arts, if you're involved in the classic, 100% or 98% of the time, you're gonna rematch it, because you dropped jaws the first time, so obviously now you're gonna drop jaws the second time. Folks, and that's what's expected. There's so many expectations in a rematch, and especially in this rematch. For Kamaru Usman, this is that shot to sort of put the rivalry to bed with Colby Covington. It's that time to now to move up and move on to maybe Leon Edwards, or you sort of think that his welterweight championship reign so far, apart from Gilbert Burns, has been revolved around Jorge Masvidal and Colby Covington, because they are his two biggest rivals in that division, in this sport. So, but for Kamaru Usman, I think we all want to see him against someone fresh, someone new, like Leon Edwards, who, in my opinion, and I think millions of others' opinion, deserves the welterweight championship shot just as much as Masvidal Covington. But this is going to be a great fight, no doubt. Covington, since his victory since his loss to Kamaru Usman the first time, he went on to defeat Tyron Woodley in September. So with him defeating Tyron in September, Kamaru Usman on the other side has beaten Jorge Masvidal. He's beaten Gilbert Burns. Yeah, and he beat Jorge Masvidal again. So, if you look at momentum, you're looking at Kamaru Usman straight off. right? And that's exactly what the welterweight division is all about. So this is all about settling beef. And the welterweight division, why it's so stacked and attractive, is because of the stars that are in it. So with Kamaru Usman fighting Covington next, who do you got Gilbert Burns calling out Leon Edwards. I would say Stephen Wonderboy Thompson runs it with Jorge Masvidal again, man. I would say they run it back. I would love to see that being run back. Then I would say Michael Chiesa. Michael Chiesa is fighting Vicente Luque. I would say Santiago Ponzinibbio against Neil Magny. I would love to see that fight. I'm not gonna lie. That's one fight I think that we all want to see, but it's one of those fights that it's been called out on social, but it looks like the UFC hasn't really taken notice of making a fight in the welterweight division in the top 10 that makes the most sense. You know what I'm saying? And I guess when you look at that division, it's so open at the moment. If you look at, okay, cool, your top maybe 6 is set. Yeah. With Covington, Masvidal, Wonderboy, Leon Edwards, Gilbert Burns, and you got Chiesa in there too. That's set out. Yeah. But what they're actually, looking for, I think, with this is it's sort of hard to put your finger on it, to actually matchmake it because it's so close. And some of these guys have already fought each other before. I would love to see Gilbert Burns and Leon Edwards. It's a fresh fight. It's something that really would settle a lot in terms of that top 4 at 170 pounds. You also, before we do the particulars, folks, you also got Bellator 267, where the rematch between Douglas the Phenom Lima and Michael Venom Page will headline Bellator's return back to the UK. So Bellator come back to England, folks, and they are coming back with a rematch where Michael Venom Page suffered his first professional loss. He suffered his first professional loss to Douglas Lima in, I would say, in a loss which really proved a lot to us. Where if Michael Page was to go up against someone like Douglas Lima, would his finesse and fancy striking work as well as it did against lesser opponents? If he faced someone like Lima, and the answer was no. The answer was hell no. Page is at a distance. Page wants to move in, and he tried to move in with his trademark right hand on Lima. But Lima ended up sweeping his leg. Page slipped down, and Lima connected with an uppercut to the chin, to put Page up before Page could get back up. So it's the experience. Douglas Lima is going to bring that electricity. He's going to bring the experience into this rematch. And Michael Venom Page, he needs to learn from that first fight. We need to see a different look at, with Michael Venom Page, like we saw against Derek Anderson. Okay, even though Derek Anderson had Michael Venom Page in, he had him under some pressure early on in their fight, but Page was patient, very calm and collected, picking his shots, and he did mix in some of that fanciness and that finesse with his striking, and that's what he needs. He needs a balance, so he needs to stay technical against Lima this time around, but also throw in some of that unpredictability. You need to catch Lima off guard, while he's coming in. Do the same thing he did to you, Tim. You never know. Page has got the skill. Folks, we're going to do the particulars right now, folks, and invite Haider Khan to the show. But don't forget, folks, to also pick up your MMA Reloaded tees, man. Yeah, go to MMAReloaded.co.uk or go to Instagram, folks, and click and view the shop on Instagram where you can get a link to our products on the website. Hoodies, t-shirts, accessories, the whole joint, folks. It comes in those styles, comes in this style, billions of other styles, from our premium shirts, from the blood drip design like you see in the white, to the logo. Prices start from £20, folks. That's UK pounds, British pounds. If you're in another country, of course, do the conversion, man, to convert it to your currency. But yeah, man, you know what I'm saying, folks. This is a revolution right here, and I want you guys to join it, man. I want you guys to join me in the revolution. Stay tuned, folks. The particulars are now. I'm gonna do the particulars. Invite Haider to the show. Stay tuned, folks, here, because it's on the mic, man. It's a real deal show with some real deal shit. You know what time it is, man. Welcome back, folks. We had to do the particulars to invite Haider to the show, folks. That's right. I'm sitting with another prospect, another standout here in the UK who will be competing at Almighty Fighting Championships, folks. They are back for 5 events here this year, folks. Yeah, so you got August the 7th, which is in less than 2 weeks now. You got September, folks. So you got September, you got October, December, I think, as well, November, I think, as well. So, folks, it's going to be a great, they're going to be great shows. Ray Thompson, the guy who runs it, is already stacking it up, for them to be star-studded shows. I think with COVID and with lockdown sort of hitting us in the UK quite badly, yeah, folks, it's really one of those things where so with COVID and lockdown really hitting us badly in the UK, you kind of get that promoters, and especially here in the UK, and I know in the States did early, where guys were really itching and really hungry to fight and get back in there. Here in the UK, folks, after talking to Ray Thompson and Dominic Gibbs, two of the premier promoters here in the UK when it comes to the regionals, especially down in Yorkshire, Leeds and Barnsley, Coventry and sides like that, Doncaster. These guys, when it comes to Cage Steel and Almighty, fighters are just picking at that pot to fight. It just shows the hunger and it shows the just willingness of these athletes to go back in there and to go compete, man. That's what they want. You know what I'm saying? That's what they want. They want to go back to work, especially if you're a professional, and where MMA is the only way you make a living. You want to go back to it and as soon as possible, man. Yeah, you want to go back to it as soon as possible. You want to get paid. You want to go back to fighting because you're missing it. You know what I'm saying? That's the real vibe I actually get from these guys. It's just something that it's one of these things where you can't really put a price on. You can't really put a price on it, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's just exciting, and it's exciting now, yeah, that COVID is easing off to a certain extent where fans can come back into the arenas and where, you know, fighters can, I don't want to say go back to normal, but they can feel somewhat of a normality with training and with going to fights and traveling now and stuff. You know, but it's still COVID. COVID is still there. And after, I don't know if you saw a chat folks I had with the Cage Steel boss, Dominic Gibbs, as well, where we talked about how, you know, we talked about how the Doncaster Dome may have restrictions, you know. I think a lot of promoters they get angry, and it frustrates the shit out. Yeah, when you don't have confirmation, or when you're not sure if there are restrictions going to fuck your event up, or if they're not going to fuck your event up. It's really hard to put your finger on it, man. But I'm damn sure this is promoters off. Yeah, so folks, of course, if you were looking forward to seeing on other news, if you were looking forward to seeing Tatiana Suarez back in the octagon, which I'm sure we all were, UFC 267 in October. Unfortunately, folks, we are disappointed, man, once again. And it's not necessarily her fault. I would not stick it on her. But it's another injury to Tatiana Suarez. Of course, Tatiana Suarez had that severe neck injury, folks, which put her out of action, and has put her out of action for 2 years. So now, when she was actually finally scheduled to make her return against Roxanne Modafferi, she can't do it. She can't do it because it's just she can't do it because she has to have knee surgery, folks. She actually injured her knee to a point where she needs surgery on it, and that's pulled her out of the fight. For me, folks, here, I mean, for real fans, they're gonna know why it's so important. Injuries are just part of fight game, you know what I'm saying? Haider Khan's ready, folks. I'm ready. It's gonna be a kick-ass show, man. Stay tuned. I just got unmuted, bro.
Yeah, all good.
Yeah, there you go, man. What's going on, Haider, man? How you doing, brother?
Yeah, I'm good, man. You?
Yeah, I'm very well. Thank you, bro. Thank you, man. You know what I'm saying? I had to catch up with you, man. It's 2 months away before it gets too late, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. But you know what I'm saying? 2 months away, man. It goes like that, right?
Yeah, you never know, you know, when you start camp, like you think you have like such a long time, and then before you know it's fight night.
Yeah, shit. Hell yeah, man. And you're like, you're probably thinking in your mind, yeah. You're probably thinking that in your mind, right? Like, well, if I just click my fingers once, I'll be in the cage. And
Yeah, you know, you get used to it eventually. You know, like the time you're like just ticking over, because you just train all the time. You just put it in like your little calendar, and then you just turn up and you're just like, oh, this is another day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure, man. For sure. I guess it comes with experience as well, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, not 2 months away, man. How are you feeling going into Almighty UFC, man? Physically and mentally, of course, bro.
At the moment, I'm quite good because, like, obviously, I just fought on UKFC like, was it 2 weeks ago now?
2 weeks, yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it's just straight back into training again, just grinding away, just keep the momentum. So I was already in good shape, and I just kept training and just kept going with it. So it's just like continuous, like there's no rest.
Nah, no, bro. And is that something that you wanna do now that you're a professional, and of course as an amateur as well, you did that too. Was be active. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was an amateur, I wanted to be more active. Like but at my weight class, being a middleweight, there's not many people to fight out there. Like
Okay.
I would have liked to fight like 6, 7 times a year. Like it doesn't bother me. I'm always in the gym, always training. So like if I'm fighting, I'm just like if I'm doing this, I want to do it all the time. Like I don't take any days off. There's no playing it. Like if you want to do this as your job, it's your job. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
this is
man.
your life now.
Yeah, man. I mean, but how does that make you feel though? You know, to be that active 7 times a year as a goal, bro. Does that? Yeah, I mean, do you think there should be some sort of a rest period between fights, or do you think, oh fuck it, yeah, fuck it, I'm ready to fight tomorrow, or I'm ready to fight, anyone, anywhere, anytime? Is that?
Yeah, that's my mentality. Like anyone, anywhere. I don't say no to fights. Like okay, like if my coaches say just give me a day, I'm just like yeah, I'll just do the day. Like I'm calm with that. I don't even ask for opponents. I just go yeah, let's just fight. Like you
Just
can't say no because at the end of the day, like you're gonna have to run into these guys at one point or another. It's just like
yeah, I
you're
mean,
gonna have to fight each other eventually.
especially at amateur, bro. Like, that's your learning curve, right? Yeah, that's where you sort of like come into the sport. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
records don't really matter in that stage. It's just fighting as much as you can while you can. You know what I'm saying? And
That's it. When you're amateur, you got to test yourself. Like if you've got a good record, he's got a good record. You both have that zero. Just test yourselves, and if you're gonna lose it, you're gonna lose it. Like who cares? Like you should even care. Even as a professional, if you're gonna fight a guy, you're 10-0, he's 10-0. You want to fight the best, so just fight each other. Somebody loses it, you get on with your life. Like
nah, there's no point padding records out here, man.
yeah, that's it. I see it. Like you don't see a lot of it anymore, but like you need to just be active and just fight the people that you just get offered. Just say yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, but when we look back at your amateur run, and of course 5-1, it was it's pretty impressive. It's not shabby record, you know what I'm saying? Now that we talk about records, don't really matter at that stage. But what was your mentality going in as an amateur, bro? Because of course it's the beginning of anyone's career. It's where you actually climb the ladder towards being a professional. But what was your mentality as an amateur? Was it as mature as it is now, or did it take some time to grow?
For like in terms of professionalism, I say I've always been quite professional. I grew up playing, rugby league,
Yeah, yeah.
and I played that to a decent level. So I played at an academy level. So
Oh,
I'm so used to like being in the routine and just training, training, training. And so like by the time I was an amateur, just training 2, 3 times a day for me was normal. Like if I wasn't doing it, I felt like I was cheating myself.
oh, 2, 3 times a
So
day
like
you were training. Dang.
yeah, like MMA, that's what I was doing when I got into the sport. Like I was head on to it. Like I wasn't like messing around. Like when I first started, like at 18,
Hmm.
is like when I started to learn just in my university period. And then once I knew I wanted to do it, I committed to it. I just went, no, I'm just going to do this, training twice, 3 times a day. And so I was always like quite professional in terms of like how I trained, like
Okay.
constantly and stuff. But as amateur, for me, it was all about developing, like learning where my weaknesses were, where I could improve, and then just fight by fight, just get better and better, and just see close that gap between at those times the professionals and the amateurs.
Mm. Yeah, 100%, 100%. But I mean, even at professional level, yeah, you start feeling like it's going into a career now, and a lot of people really just
Yeah,
step
yeah.
up their game. Was that how was that transition going from amateur to now, professional? You won your debut. How was that transition for you, Haider?
But the transition, like obviously, it wasn't much in terms of training. I'm going to be honest with you because, like I said, I'm training 2, 3 times a day. Like I would say, when I was an amateur, I was a professional amateur.
Yeah.
Like I'd be training that much that you're training 6 to 5 hours a day. It's your life, so it's just like it's like that now. Even as a professional, that's what professionals do now.
Mm.
So it's just like there wasn't much of a difference. It was just probably training a bit smarter, looking at my holes a bit more, where I had to improve to probably manipulate those professional rules a bit better,
Okay. Yeah.
take advantage of the little rule changes and stuff.
I mean, is that something you do quite regularly when you go into training camp, bro, or even training sessions? Is mix up your routine or do you have like quite a strict routine where I know you said, coming from a rugby and having that mentality of being quite disciplined. When you come into training MMA now, or whether it's camp or whether it's just regular sessions, do you mix it up a bit more, or do you maybe focus on one aspect that you feel you're not all there yet on?
Yeah.
Or is
No,
it
like it is like that. So every time I spar and stuff, I'll have a word with my coaches at the end, like, what do you think needs to be improved? What do you think do better? And we develop a plan, like, let's say you weren't too good on bottom today,
Yeah.
you could improve this sweep, that sweep, sort of stuff like that. You can use the cage to get up, stuff like that. And then I'll develop and just work around those little notes. But to be honest, in terms of like a camp, I don't believe in like camps.
all right, cool.
Like,
Yeah, cool.
in terms of that, if I use a camp, it's just to get my weight down. That's what I use the term camp for. Like, all right, I'm just gonna get my weight down a bit. But in terms of training, I train all the time. Like, it's not something like, so it's just like, I always want to be developing my game, because I feel like in this game now, I look at the kids coming up, but even younger than me, they're mad. Like, they do some like the maddest stuff you see, and you're like, you can't be taking rest days because people are gonna catch you up just quickly now.
Yeah, 100%, bro. Nah, 100%. G. So you need to stay one step ahead out there, man. You know what I'm saying? And no, I guess it's a good mentality right there, man. I know a lot of professionals do that too. Is they don't look at training camps as training camps. You know what I'm saying? It's just every day is a fucking training camp.
I genuinely enjoy the sport, so it's like for me, waking up at 9 a.m. going to training is like, I enjoy that. Like, it's not a chore. It's not a job. Like, it's like, and then what you got to do it a second time in the day. You got to go around. Like, it's just fun. You know what I mean? Like, I enjoy the process of learning something new, developing. It's just something that I enjoy.
Yeah, man. No, man, for sure, bro. And well, one thing we never really touched on was how it all began for you, man. How did it all start for Haider Khan, bro? What was I mean, bro, as a British Asian, as a British Muslim, and even myself as a British Asian, I know how it is. Yeah, it's not, obviously a favorable decision to go fight.
Yeah, my parents are like, they've got on board now because they see how dedicated I am and stuff with it. And like, even when I played rugby, my mum still wasn't like the biggest fan. It was always education.
Yeah,
and like, so she was like, my punishment was like, the threat was like, if I didn't do good, I can't do my sport.
Oh
like
shit!
In school and stuff. So it'd be like, but then when you sign like academy contracts and stuff, obviously then my mum was like, all right, you have to do it. But I still went to like college and stuff, and then I went to university. But that's where I really started it. I didn't start in university, but when I went to uni, I found a gym, started to train a little bit of kickboxing, a little bit of like jiu-jitsu, and that was it really. And then I just fell in love with it.
How long were you training the whole time at uni, bro? So the whole 3 years, or was it?
Yeah, the whole 3 years. So it really started like, so again, like I said, I was playing rugby, and then I had a little fall. Like, we just didn't get along, me and like the club. Eventually they let my contract go. Yeah. And then I always wanted to try MMA, because I used to watch it here and there, like, and I used to like John St. Pierre and stuff with people that I looked up to, like at the time, like iconic Anderson Silva and stuff. I used to see the highlights and I was like, I want to try this.
Yo, you can't pick two better fucking role models than those two, man, for sure. It's two of the great right there, bro. Nah, but when you finally came, what prompted you then to then say, all right, cool, Haider, bro, you trained at uni, now you're gonna go compete. What prompted that decision for you, man, to actually go start competing?
I love competing. Like, I'm very competitive. Like, I'm like I'm mad. Like, if you play Monopoly, I'm the guy that flips the board. Like, it's just like, I'm competitive. Like, I can't play Snap or anything. Like, my little cousins, like, I'll just lose it. Like, I can't. I'm just way too competitive like that. But it's just like being brought up to compete. Like, since I was 6, I've done sport competing. I love it. Like when I go into that, I like that mentality that you got to be in to compete. It's like, it's a thrill. I just enjoy it. And then martial arts is something else. It was like, it's just you. Do you know what I mean? Like, you have your corner team, you have the opponent, but it's just you and him, and now you're outsmarting each other. It's not like when you're playing these team sports where you can pass the blame on. It's on you. Like everything in there, that's your decision.
Yeah.
Every wrong move you make, that's your fault. And I like the pressure.
Oh, 100%, man. 100%, bro. Yeah, when you came from rugby, which is a team sport heavily, yeah, and you came into MMA, which is, like you said, it's you and him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that a difficult thing for you to get used to, mentally? Was that, I'm not in the team anymore. Yeah. I'm not throwing passes. I'm not tackling another fucker. It's just me and this guy. Yeah, one
In
on
terms
one.
of getting like my grasp around fighting, nah, like I've never was really much of a like as growing up. I won't like fight or anything. Like I'm always been quite a calm person. Like I get along with people. I don't start fights or anything like that. But then like in terms of the transition, nah, like because I used to take a lot of the pressure on myself. Like when I used to play rugby and stuff. Like as an amateur, like if I could score 4 times in a game and if we lost, I feel like I've let the team down. Like I take a lot of the blame like that.
All right.
So it's like I'm the same in MMA. Like I'll take the blames. Like if I make an error, that's my fault. It's nobody else's. So it's like I feel like I'm quite good at being like holding myself accountable and things.
I mean, even in MMA now, bro, yeah, you have, of course, like you said, you have your cornering stuff, right? You have your coaches, you have a game plan going in. So does that sort of take? I mean, does that put more pressure on you? Do you think to follow the game plan and to listen, to the coaches to win it, or does it sort of take some of the pressure off you because you already got a set game plan going into a fight? Now all you got to do is execute.
See, the way I approach a fight is like we do have a game plan. Obviously, like you get the gist of like if the guys had quite a few fights, you have a gist of what you're gonna do against them. Like the strong points, but you know what? When you're in there, it's a different ball game. Watching a video does not show you how fast somebody is. Like when they're in front of you, how they move. Like so. To be honest, me and my team, we do game plan a little bit like, all right, we know he's got a good overhand, let's keep the hand up, stuff like that. But they let me go with the flow with it most of the time.
How does that make you feel, like round by round, where adrenaline does take over for you, man? Because for some fighters, like it's like after the first round you're getting outstruck, and maybe if the game plan was to keep it on the feet, you would come into the second round and try to take him down, something like that. Is that something you've had to deal with in your?
No, I never planned to take somebody down or something like that. It's like obviously I have a game plan. Like if I'm gonna wrestle heavy, like I know I'm gonna wrestle heavy, but like if it ends up being a striking fight, it doesn't bother me. Like if I fail a takedown, I don't get really too bothered. Like seeing UKFC fight, I get sprawled upon, and then we just go back to striking. It don't really bother me like too much because like I believe when you're in a mixed martial arts fight, it's mixed martial arts, mix it up. It's no point like saying this guy's a Division 1 wrestler and just like, I'm just gonna stay on the back foot the whole time and just try and throw an uppercut. Threaten him with a little takedown or something. Like you think plenty of good wrestlers get taken down. And when they're on the back, they don't know what to do. Like
and then now that you're coming into your second professional belt, now that the first one's out of the way, does that take some of the pressure off too, bro? Because of course, being like we said, being a professional, that's really where it starts becoming real as a career. Now that it's your second pro bout, are you thinking, all right, cool, Haider, bro, you killed it in your first, you're coming into the second, no pressure.
Well, there's always pressure there, you know what I mean? Like, because if you set the expectations for yourself, like I set high expectations for myself where I want to be reaching. So, and like, there's always going to be pressure there because I don't want to lose. Like, I always want to win. Like I'm saying, ultra competitive. Like every moment of a fight, I want to win, every second. But it's a bit stupid for me to say you can't win every moment. Like it's another guy trying to punch you in the face. Like you can't win every moment. He's trying to do the same thing. Like, it's stupid for me to think that. But like, there's always pressure there because if you can't afford to lose in the professional game. You can to develop and learn, especially like me being kind of young. There's plenty of time for me to learn and stuff. But I've set myself goals and I want to reach them, so I don't want to lose. Like, so there's pressure always every fight. But my first fight, yeah, it was a bit more nerve-wracking than this one because I made the walk now. I fought in professional rules. I fought a guy that was arguably, well, is way more experienced than me at that time and was a former UK #1 at amateur as a middleweight. And I proved myself now that, yeah, I belong at a level and I am that level that I thought I was as an amateur. Now going to the pros, I need to prove that I'm the level that I think I am at the pro ranks as well.
How does that make you feel to get that victory against someone more experienced? Man? Yeah, because obviously you're coming into a fight. When somebody comes into a fight with someone more experienced than them, they're like, well, he's gonna fucking beat the shit out of me, you know. But when you came into that fight when you come into a fight against someone more experienced than you, go, how does that make you feel beating them? Yeah, because you're like, hard work pay off.
Yeah, that was it. Like, because if you look at his record and my record, he's been fighting madly since I was in year 8. So it's kind of mad like that. I was like, all right, so he's been fighting literally since I was like 12, 13.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what was it? I've been doing it, I think, 3.5 years to his like 9. And it was like, but I always believe, like, because like I said, hard work, I've been focused on this like solely for my life for those 3.5 years, that people would be surprised. Like, I'm probably as good as somebody who's been doing it 9 years just because of the work I've put in. It's just been hard work with the, like, which I believe are like good quality coaches. Yeah, so like you can put 9 years in with coaches that aren't going to develop you correctly, but I've put in 3 solid years with coaches that give me the attention, develop my game, tell me, are honest with me, do you know what I mean, with what I need to improve on. Yeah. So when I beat him, it was like, yeah, it was. I thought I knew I was going to beat him. Like, that's the mentality I had. Like, I knew he was going to be a tough test because I've seen all his, like, quite a few of his fights. He's been around for a long time. He's not easy to finish. Like, he's still never been finished. I didn't finish him. But that was my mentality going into there. Like, I thought I could finish him. And then I knew if it was going to go to decision, it'd be my fight because I've seen him, he fades away a bit. And I felt like this is where I was going to show, that fight was where I was going to show the developments in my fight IQ, how I control the cage against somebody more experienced.
So would you say that prompted you to fight a lot more smarter going into that fight?
Yeah, you know, like I feel like I had a conversation with my coach, like when I first started to spar good level pros at professional like rule set ish, and I would look for certain things way too much because in amateur it's only 3 minutes. You can look for those things, the finish, and like not worry about it. But then my coach was like, there's this thing like an energy exchange. That guy doesn't mind losing 2 minutes of the round if you're just chasing nothing. And he was like, you just got to win the small battles. He went, you can't always just be like, I want to pressure him. Sometimes you have to give and take just to conserve yourself and just be like, all right, I won't lose the position, but I won't commit fully to the position. Just so then I can get a different position and just like transition. Whereas I feel that's the major like difference is like management of a fight is difference between pro and amateur.
For sure. And it's the time as well, right, bro? Like you said, there's only 3 minutes. You know what I'm saying? And then compared to 15, you know, and it's
like each round is 40% longer, so it's like 40% longer the fight.
Yeah, man, 100%. Yeah, and so you know, how do you sort of compare to amateur? And, you know, like I mentioned before about how was the transition from amateur to pro. So when you fight pro, you know, compared to when you fought amateur, yeah, what is your sort of approach round by round? Is your approach straight away from the first round to go finish it, or sort of do you sort of take your time in about late round 2, early round 3, you go in there for it?
Like, I'm not one of those like who really like sets out, you know, to like knock somebody out or something. Like I take what's there, like the sort of thing. Like if you see quite a few of my early fights at amateur, I get that finish early. Like, and it's not a problem. I'm finishing the guys in like the first round. And you see my last 2 amateur fights, I went to a decision with what people now they would associate him as a journeyman. But he's like a high level gentleman. You get those people. He's durable. Barely ever got finished,
Yeah.
and he took me 3 rounds. And then I fought a week later in Olympia on Pro Bellum. I fought a guy called Anton Bassi. Went 3 rounds again, and I submitted him in with 1 minute to go in the third round, last round. So it's like I don't look for the finish. Like sometimes you got to cook your opponent a bit, like
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
like
Definitely.
just like. And then some people, you know, you can catch them early, like they're off guard, boom, the right hand sleeps them. Like it just you take what's there. And then some people you have to grind them out and just get a decision. But that's the way. Some people more durable than others. Some people have better ground game than others. It's just martial arts, isn't it?
That's the way it is, man. No, that's the way it is, bro. No, you're right, 100%, bro. And that's such a mature way to look at it. Because if you look at some of these guys now, they think that, all right, cool, I'm just gonna go in there and rip your face off here from the first second here till you go down, And you kind of see this approach of being smart only where some proper real fighters they actually know how to do it. And it's hard
Don't get me
because
wrong, those fights are entertaining. Do you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
everybody loves to watch somebody that's coming out there and just scrapping. Like,
for sure.
but I feel like there's a difference. Those people are gonna make short term, like popularity, noted. Like they're gonna get noted. But people who want to make it a career will like you have to dissect their opponents.
Yeah, and two of the greatest examples there, like you mentioned earlier, were Anderson Silva, George St. Pierre. Yeah, 100%. They were two of the smartest fighters out there, man. That's what made them two of the greats. And like you said, it's about making a long-term legacy for yourself, isn't it, man?
It's like when you're looking now, like when you look in the UFC landscape at the champions that we've had, like you had Khabib, obviously retired now. He didn't finish a lot of guys early on in his career. Like he would get the rounds in, grind them. His style was very grinding, so you would have to get later round finishes. Then you got Kamaru Usman, who's only really just started now in the championship level fights, finishing people because he's got the experience behind him. Because he's fought 13 fights where he's not finished people, and he's probably always had it in his locker where he could finish people. Like you don't just grow that overnight, you know what I mean? Like he's always had power, like and stuff like that. And then you get it with John Jones. He's finished people, legends. He finished like was it Machida, Shogun early on. But as he got older and mature, he learned like, well, he was a world champion by that point. But you know what I'm saying? Like he was already like now when he's fighting these other guys, now you see that he is going 5 rounds and stuff. But you can see each round he's picking them apart.
And that's it, though, isn't it? It comes with experience, right? And it's all about patience. That's the main thing, man. These guys, they're so impatient, and it gets them careless. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, man, it's all about rounding your game out. Shit takes time. The whole thing takes time, man.
It's like when you look at these guys, like you say John Jones, strong wrestler, he can strike though.
Yeah. Oh
like,
yeah.
He's comfortable everywhere. Do you know what I mean? Like that's the truth is behind these guys. Like you're looking at who are at the world class level. They're comfortable anywhere. Like John Jones can fight off his back if he wanted to. He can wrestle. Like he doesn't mind where a fight goes.
Nah, he's shown it. He's shown it so many times against the best. And that's what it's about, right? As time goes on, yeah, your confidence is gonna go up. Your quality is gonna go up. And I know like your mentality is your hard work is gonna pay off even more. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And bro, was it, when we talk about, sorry, bro, when we talk about the hard work, we talk about the way you fight, how you fight, your approach going into fights. One thing that actually attributes to that is your gym that you train at, right?
Yeah, that gym is like mad. We got like mad killers in there, Like all the guys, it's casual, for us to come in and train twice a day, 3 times a day. It's normal. Like it's not a thing like where you looked at weirdly like, oh, he's training 3 times a day. We're all doing it. So it's just it's a normal thing. Like at Aspire, like we've got quite a few of the top amateurs in the country. Like we're going to all transition to pro. So, but like because we've been training as like professional amateurs, like they'd say when we go to being a professional, it's just no different really. We just probably figured out things a bit differently, how to manage time in fights and stuff. But really, the quality of training stays the same because it's always been at a high level.
How does that how do you feel when you're in the gym with studs? Yeah, like those, bro. Yeah, guys who are on the same boat as you, trying to achieve the same thing as you are, man. How does that make you feel? Does that make you want to up, like you said about your competitiveness? Does that make you a bit more competitive to be better than them, bro?
Yeah, because obviously, like, you always want the best for your teammates. Like, there's no lie. Like, you want them to be stars in their weight divisions and stuff like that. But you also want to be that guy as well. Like, you want to be the star in your weight class and stuff like that. So you like competing for like who wants to be the like not like competing because I don't really care. Like, obviously, but you want to be the best you can be. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, for sure. Yeah, no.
so it's like
And yeah, go ahead, bro.
it's like it's the competitiveness like there. Like you want to be like, oh, like I've got this skill set, I've got that skill set, but it's not like we hate like we're like friends, you know what I mean? We're just chilling, having fun, doing what we do.
But when you know, one thing I've said though, yeah, to a certain extent, is that MMA is a team sport. Yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
whether you're amateur or yeah, it's a team sport. Exactly because of that, because you're in the gym and you're giving advice and you're taking advice. You know what I'm saying, from your teammates, from sparring partners, from anybody. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying. Is that how important is it to have that environment where you have a relationship with your teammates, you have a relationship with your coaches, and you can actually does that help you focus a lot more when you're
Yeah,
training?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and look, you trust the people that you're with. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Like, if you have that friendship there, there's no lying, there's no hiding. Like, if your mate tells you you're doing something wrong, you believe him, and that's
Mm.
how it is. And like, if your coach is your mate, you get along, you have a good relationship. You trust them with like anything. Like my coaches, if they told me I'm doing something wrong, I know I'm doing something wrong. I don't doubt it. Like, there's no doubt. Like, if they're saying you're doing this and that wrong, I trust them because they got the best interest as a friend as well as a coach at heart for me to develop.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. And when you get to sparring or when you get into training for fights, yeah, I bet it's a lot better for you there, man. Yeah, and then of course, how important is it for you? How important do you think, in your opinion, man, gym loyalty is for any fighter, like from a fighter's perspective? And if fighters keep moving around gyms, yeah, they don't really get that experience, do they? And then gym, they can be a bit more guarded or unsettled. It can put a lot of pressure on you going into fights. Like, cool, I trained this here, but now that I'm moving, I keep moving. Yeah, it's not the same. Do
No,
you
like,
think gym loyalty is important like that, Haider?
I think it's important to an extent where it's like there's nothing wrong with going to train somewhere else if you want to develop that aspect. Like, if I want to get my straight wrestling better, like just a bit of wrestling, and I'm gonna go down to a wrestling club where you got some Team GB members there, and my coaches, like where we come from in Aspire, our coaches would encourage that. They're not a gym because they believe what they're teaching us is right, which we all know is right as well. But like
Yeah,
they don't feel threatened by like me going to like another gym and like meeting new people, sparring new people, training because they're just like you've got to go out there and develop, see different styles, different looks myself. But personally, in my heart, I know that's where I'm gonna go back and train as Aspire. Like there's nothing wrong with that. Like yesterday, uh, I went and sparred in a different gym just because there's just new looks, some high level bodies there. It's good for my development. My coaches, they want the what's best for me. And said, yeah, go do that. I did it for my last camp. I was sparring those guys. We don't just keep it in the gym. Like, we're not a gym that's going to be like people come to our gym and like from other gyms, we don't care. Like, come train with us. Like, and then like we're saying, it's martial arts. We're here to become better as martial artists. Like, my opponent, we talked after the fight. He trains at a different gym, but we just said, yeah, we train together. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, if you want to develop as each other, like I've beaten him, he gave me a tough test.
yeah.
Like, if that's what I want on the mat as well, I want a tough test to just get better. But it's nothing like
So
animosity or anything between other gyms and stuff.
yeah, man. Oh, for real. Yeah, so it works both ways, doesn't it? Like, you want to show that gym loyalty to your coaches and the guys who got you where you are, but at the same time, if you know that another gym could offer you, something a bit better, going something not better but different. Yeah, in terms of like
Just
you said,
different looks, isn't it? Like sometimes, like
yeah,
especially with sparring, if you spar the same guy all the time, he's your mate as well. You get used to each other's style.
mm,
Like after a certain time, you sparred each other for 2 years, uh, not non-stop, obviously, when you're in camp, so quite a few times.
mm,
Eventually, you know what he's gonna throw. He knows that you're gonna throw. Sometimes you need those butterflies again,
mm,
like just to walk in a different gym that's not your gym and just be like, oh, I'm a bit nervous here, and you will underperform, just like a fight. Like everybody that fights is way better in the gym than they are on fight night. Like I've seen people in the gym who like they toss people around, but on fight night they're still good, still high level, but
mm.
you know they've got another gear.
Do you think
Like
training could, a lot of people say that in a fight it's not the same pace as training. You can never simulate fight
no,
pace
you
when
can't,
you're training.
you can't, no, man. There's nothing like it, man. A
Mm,
fight is different. Your legs, like you get tired quicker, but then
mm,
you also feel like that energy as well. Like it's a different sort of energy.
yeah,
Like you can't explain it because you got people cheering you on, stuff like that, and you can kind of cancel that out. I'm not gonna lie. Like when you first hear it when you come out, you're like, all right, I can hear it, and then you cancel out and you just focus. While you're in training, you're kind of discussing ideas, training,
yeah,
training, training, training. And again, you're not looking to hurt the person necessarily in training. You're looking to just work certain things. I'm trying, like even when you're rolling competitively, you're looking for stuff that you've practiced and stuff like that. But when you're in a fight, you're looking to deal the most damage possible. So that's the difference in the energy. Like if I'm looking for something technically,
yeah.
but now I'm just looking to smash your head in,
Yeah,
it's gonna be different. I'm putting a little extra whip on those shots.
yeah, for sure, man. So I guess it's yeah, man. But I guess it is different. At the end of the day, you can never simulate fight pace ever, bro. Especially
You
when
can do
in
all the
terms,
like, you can do all the conditioning you want. You're just not gonna replicate a fight.
that's the
A
thing, is
fight's a fight.
yeah, no, yeah, Haider, bro. But that's the thing, though, isn't it? You could be shredded, tip top shape, the whole joint,
Yeah, yeah.
but going into a fight, yeah, you could be tired as fuck when it comes to like 10, 15, when it comes to like 10, 12 minutes. We've seen it. You see it in the UFC. You see it in the big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you see it. You see it all the time because like
yeah,
it's a pressure. There's no pressure on you in the gym.
yeah,
You're there to learn. You're not there to perform on a night for one night only. You know what I mean? I'm there to improve my performance.
yeah,
Whereas when it's fight night, it's business. It's just like, all right, I'm here to take a win and go home. Like sort of mentality.
no, that's for sure. Yeah, it's not. It's not. I mean, like as a pro, yeah, you wanna take a win, obviously. Yeah, bro. But like you said, the learning never stops. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about, man. At the end of the day. Mm,
No, it's like you're saying, yeah, it's all about the learning. Like we're martial artists. Like that is the truth. And for those 15 minutes, I'm a fighter. Those 25 minutes, I'm a fighter. But the the 10, 15 weeks before that, I'm a martial artist. I'm developing my game.
yeah,
And then for those 15 minutes, I turn into my mentality changes. Now it's like, I'm gonna hurt this guy.
yeah,
Yeah, I don't mind hurting this guy. Like there is no, we're not friends or nothing. Like there's nothing there. Like
yeah,
I'm just
come
gonna hurt you and go home. Like that's the sort of mentality. Like after the fight, we shake hands, we're good, we can be friendly, we can be friends after that. There's no problem.
on.
Like there's nothing.
That's
Like even if win or lose, we can be friends. Like if I lose, I don't mind. We can shake hands. We can be friends. I'll ask you if you beat me. Let's train together. I'm not the guy that's gonna have the ego. That's gonna be like, you beat me. That's it. I hate the guy.
I don't know.
Like
No,
no,
no
you
point
can't
being
be
a
like
dick.
that in this sport.
Yeah, no, there's no point being a dick to him, man. Not unless you want to fucking like create waves on social or something like that. Um, but yeah,
And
man.
there's a
Nah, I
way
mean,
to do it, innit? There's a way to do it. Like at the moment, it's like McGregor, innit? Like
fuck
at
McGregor, man.
first, no, but what I'm saying is at first you saw him and like there was a authenticity to what he was doing. Like it was legit. He was respectful actually.
He would.
Like when he first came up.
Yeah,
And now it's just got to the point where it's just like, mate, you just shouting shit now. Like Just stop it.
That's it, bro. Yeah, bro,
Like, it doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah, man. No, for real, bro. It doesn't. It's become too cringy, man. It's too fake now, bro.
I've always said, like, you're not gonna like 100% of people in the world. Like,
Mm.
you're just not. Like, you have your friends, you have your family, and you have people that you just get along with, like acquaintances and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there's no problem. And most fighters are just like that. You just get along with them. Like, they're genuine people. Like, fighters are some of the nicest people you'll meet. Like, people think, like, oh, like the barbarians, they just go out there to fight. Like, we were talking about it yesterday in the gym when I was sparring. He was like, you know what? The coach that was there, he was like, fighters are some of the nicest people you meet. He was like, they're some of like the nerdiest people you meet as well. They're just like normal people. And we're just like, yeah, because it's just, you can't be in the sport where you got so much different cultures in it. Like, you got the Brazilians, you got Asia, you got North America, you got everything, and it's just like you got to come together and combine it. It's a sport of different cultures.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So,
Oh yeah. Hell yeah.
like, there isn't none of this like national pride. Like, you don't go in there, like, this is gonna sound mad, like representing Britain. Like, it's not an Olympic sport. It's not.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
not playing football. It's not like that. Obviously, you do have national pride and stuff like that, and like, you do feel like something, like you are doing something for your country at a level. But at the end of the day, you go in there to represent yourself, your gym, and go out there and put on a show for people.
No, for real, man. Exactly. Well said, my bro. Well said, man. Shit. I mean, but that's the way. That's the way it is, man. That's the fucking perfect mentality to have, bro. Yeah, you're a martial artist, 15 weeks, man. 15, 20 weeks, and you're a fighter for 15 minutes, man. That's a t-shirt saying right there. Yeah, I'll put that on my next fucking t-shirt, bro. No,
Go
man.
for it, man. Yeah, go for it.
But at the end of the day, yeah, I wish you all the best of luck, man.
Thanks, brother. Yeah.
September the 8th, I think.
18th.
18th.
Liverpool
Yeah,
Olympia.
I'm actually going to the show. Yeah, yeah.
Nah, it changed. Yeah, no, it's not your fault. The show changed. It was meant to be September 4th. And then UFC are coming to town then. So they changed it to 18th of September.
Yeah, man. No, that's it. Well, I'm actually going to the damn show, bro. Yeah,
Nice. I see you there then, innit?
yeah, for real, man. I think it'll be sick, man. I'm looking forward to seeing you go, man. But Haider, bro, it's been a pleasure, man. Thank you
It's been a pleasure talking to you, man.
No, man. You made it special, bro. Thank you so much, man, for agreeing to come on the show. I hope the rest of the camp goes well, the rest of the training goes well, man, heading in.
Thank you.
And yeah, once again, man, all the best of luck. Definitely, man. We'll catch up afterwards. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Sam, mate. Thank you.
Man, no worries, bro. Thank you, man.
In a bit, man. Thank you.